the defendant guilty of possession of a firearm by a juvenile delinquent found to have committed a felony act as charged in the information. When the jury found the defendant committed the crime charged in the information for the purpose of benefiting, promoting, or furthering the interests of a criminal gang. So say we hold done at Jacksonville, Duval County, Florida, signed foreperson 2/4/22. Juror number 2, is this your true or correct verdict? Yes. Juror number 3, is this your true or correct verdict? Yes. Juror number 4, is this your true or correct verdict? Juror number 5, is this your true or correct verdict? Yes. Juror number 6, is this your true or correct verdict?
Why in our Mookey? 10 years.
So I've given a lot of thought to this case, reviewed the PSI very carefully, consider all the evidence presented at trial. And let me just tell you right up front, I do not believe the
courtroom look like that?
sentence is appropriate in this case. I'm not going to impose one. I'm going to sentence him to an adult sanction. So then my next question to me, after determining that the youthful offender sentence is not appropriate in this case, of what an appropriate sentence is. I do think a 20-year sentence is excessive, and I'm not going to impose a 20-year sentence in prison. But I'm sort of stunned when you take a look at the defendant's criminal history beginning back in 2015.
This courtroom looks crazy.
That it shows a consistent pattern of not learning from mistakes. 2015, he entered a plea to, when you take a look at the defendant's criminal history beginning back in 2015, that it shows a consistent pattern of not learning from mistakes. 2015, he entered a plea to, in juvenile court of domestic battery, resisting without violence, making threats. He completed a youth offender program and resulted in those cases, that case being dropped, because that was part of the terms of the agreement. And so I think most people at that point would have said, whew, I'm going to walk the straight and narrow. And Mr. Jackson, I've watched the music videos, and I have to say that I'm appalled at the content of them, at the direction. But one thing that really sticks out is Mr. Jackson is a talented young man that could do anything he wanted with his life if he made the right choices. And I think that the video spoke loud and clear to the jury of what the purpose of that video was. It may have been some art, but that wasn't what it was for. I don't find Mr. Jackson's assertion that he's not a member of the Young and Ruthless credible. I find that he is not credible when he makes that assertion. And not only that, but I think it's very clear what a charismatic leader he is in the Young and the Ruthless. When people look up to someone who commits crimes, that's a shame, I think. So then we move on from him getting these charges dropped after he's in a plea of guilty to them.
I don't like this look.
There's carrying a concealed firearm also in 2015. So he's sentenced to probation. There's a carrying concealed firearm and a resisting an officer without violence. And so he is, for the carrying concealed firearm, he's withhold adjudication of delinquency. He's placed on probation. He's given another shot, another chance. And so then
look how he's looking at that woman over there.
Probation in later in 2015, he he doesn't make it very long indeed before there's a violation of that probation. So he's put on probation, and he violates it again, by another violation of the probation. And then we have the possession of a firearm by adjudicated delinquent, in which he pleads guilty. He's just sentenced to jail. So I see a consistent pattern of it's just another incident of him not complying with the law. In fact, there's two incidences of no valid driver's license. There was one in 2018, and another in 2019. And again, it's it's while it's not a serious crime, it's just another indication of Mr. Jackson's thumbing his nose at the law. And so my concern is that this is now the third firearms offense for which you've been held responsible. It just seems that your intent on, rather than becoming that successful artist that you could be, with all the potential in the world you have, of just making the decision that you would be rather associated with a criminal gang and make videos that promote or in furtherance of the criminal gang. So put you in prison. But I'm not going to put you in prison for 20 years. I'm going to put you in prison for 10.
Sorry.
So I'm going to adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 10 years in the Florida Department of Corrections, to be followed by 5 years of probation. And
They
during
gave
that
him
period
his
of
time to
probation,
kick his family
you will
out.
not associate with
Wow,
any
them
criminal
people
gang
play
members.
crazy in Florida.
And